Hello everyone and welcome to Career Launcher. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the removal post process of Justice Yashwant Varma. I am sure you must be aware that this topic is very much in the news in recent days, especially with the beginning of the monsoon session. There are proposals actually where in recent days that removal motion in the parliament will be taken up very soon against Justice Yashwant Varma. So we will discuss from the beginning, and we will discuss how a judge of a high court is removed under the Article 124 as well as Judges Inquiry Act 1968. We will discuss this in detail about the removal process. We will also compare this removal process of a high court judge with the impeachment process of the President of India. Okay. So am I audible, visible? Is everything fine? If yes, then please write yes in the comments so that we can begin with the class. Is my voice clear? Yes, I think I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. Yes, fine. So removal process of Justice Varma. Okay. So I'm sure, let me start with what actually had happened. This is somewhere around March or April, somewhere I think around last week. Yes, last week of March somewhere. What happened was actually he was not, Justice Yashwant Varma was not in Delhi. He was at that time the Delhi High Court judge. And his parent High Court is actually Allahabad High Court. So at that time, he was a Delhi High Court judge. And he was not in Delhi when fire broke out in his house. Not exactly in his house, but let me tell you, this is his, let's say, premises. This is official residence premises. Okay, or campus, whatever you can say. And let's say this is his bangla. This is just for explanation purpose. And in the same premises, there is actually what we call it as storeroom type. In this storeroom, actually, the fire broke out, and Justice Varma was not in his house. So what happened was the staffs called the fire brigade personnel, and when the personnel came to douse the fire, they got to know that there are a lot of huge amount of cash which were burning actually. So these things, images were actually there, and they submitted this. So the Delhi Fire Services submitted this to the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, etc. That we have found something like this. And later on, it was found that the cash amount was very high as somewhere around 15 crore rupees. That is what the allegation was. Okay. Then actually after that, the Chief Justice of India, at that time, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, set up a 3-member committee. Okay, on 5th May 2025, the Supreme Court Chief Justice of India, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, set up a committee. What we call it as in-house mechanism. In-house mechanism means the judiciary will itself actually hold accountable to the judiciary. That's called as in-house mechanism. Okay, not the parliament, because ideally the process is a judge, a high court or a Supreme Court judge. According to the constitution, the only penal provision is the removal, right? Which we'll see in Article 124. So in-house mechanism means the judiciary itself will check or hold accountable to the judiciary. So in-house mechanism was set up by Justice Sanjeev Khanna, and the 3 members were Justice Sheel Nagu, Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana High Court at that time, Justice G.S. Randhawa, Chief Justice of Himachal High Court, and Justice Anu Sivaram, Judge of Karnataka High Court. So this was an inquiry committee that was set up against Justice Yashwant Varma, in whose house there is an allegation that actually the burnt notes were found, or in the storeroom, ideally. So that is what the thing was. After that, the committee said the reports reveals that they are highly suspicious item, not of small value. It means it's a huge amount of cash. and could not have been placed in the storeroom without the consent of Justice Verma. So the three-member committee said that the amount was of huge value. It was a huge amount of cash, and without Justice Verma's permission, it could not have been put in the storeroom. तो कमेटी, 3-member कमेटी ने ये कहा कि बहुत छोटा अमाउंट नहीं था, बहुत बड़ा अमाउंट ऑफ कैश में मालूम हुआ है, पाया गया है, और वे जस्टिस वर्मा साहब के कंसेंट के बगैर, उनकी परमिशन के बगैर नहीं रखा गया होगा स्टोर रूम में. That is what it says. What the inquiry committee of the 3 judges said. Okay. Now, so that is what you should know. It was set up by Justice Sanjeev Khanna, but the members were Justice Sheel Nagu, Chief Justice Punjab Haryana High Court, Justice G.S. Sandhawalia, Himachal Pradesh Chief Justice, and Justice Anu Sivaram of Karnataka High Court. Please be aware, this 3-member inquiry was set up by the Chief Justice of India, which is not mentioned in the Judges Inquiry Act. That is why it is important. You will have to realize it. You will realize very soon. Judges Inquiry Act also talks about setting up a 3-member panel. But that is done on the initiative of Parliament. Here, a 3-member panel was set up by the Chief Justice of India. Both are different. So this, you have to understand it. This was set up on the initiative of Justice Sanjeev Khanna, the then Chief Justice of India at that time. Okay. You have to be careful. Please watch the class till last because it is important. Now, when these things happened, Justice Verma was transferred back to the Allahabad High Court from where he had come. I mean, originally he was from Allahabad High Court. He was transferred to Delhi High Court, and then the cash were found, the alleged cash were found. Then after that, he was transferred back. Okay, that is what the thing is. Now, after this inquiry committee said that actually we are convinced that it's a huge amount of value, and without Justice Verma's consent, the cash would not have been put. So basically, then the report basically recommended removal of Justice Verma. Yes, Priyanshi, the findings of in-house committee says that there was a huge amount of cash, and without the Justice Verma's permission, it was not put in the storeroom. It means the committee said that Justice Verma knew about that huge amount of cash. And of course, since this is a huge amount of cash, you cannot justify it by saying that this was from his salary, because salary is very less, like 2 lakh, 3 lakh hardly. So there were media reports which were saying that somewhere around 15 crore rupees in cash was there. So chances of proving that it is earned in a... No, collegium system is different. Anamika, collegium system is appointment of judges. Chinmay, we are coming to that. He has not been removed yet. Okay, please watch the entire class. Okay, okay. So that was happened. So then the committee, which committee? The Supreme Court set up committee, where there were 3 judges, 3 High Court judges. 2 were Chief Justice of High Court, 1 were 1 High Court judge. They recommended that Justice Verma should be removed. Please be aware, this report is not under Judges Inquiry Act, because we will discuss that separately. This committee was not under Judges Inquiry Act. This was made by the CJI. Justice Inquiry Act will come later on. We'll discuss about that. Okay. Okay. Now, the Justice Sanjeev Khanna, the Chief Justice of India, asked Justice Verma that please resign. But he said, no, I will not resign. Okay. So that is what it was in the news. Now, few days back, yes, this is for CLAT UG and PG. Yes, Daksha. Few days back, we had seen this news. Parliament begins process for Justice Verma's impeachment. Please be aware. The word impeachment is being used in the newspapers, but you as a serious law aspirant, you should know that impeachment word is in the Constitution is mentioned only for the President of India under Article 61. President is removed in India. President is removed through the process of impeachment. If you read Article 124, where the removal process of Supreme Court and High Court judges are mentioned, the word removal is mentioned. Okay. So technically speaking, using the word impeachment for removing a High Court or a Supreme Court judge technically is not correct. Although it is used in newspapers very soon. Like it is used in common parlance, but technically not correct. Okay. तो ये exactly सही नहीं होगा कि impeachment word लिखा जाए जज के रिमूवल के लिए. उनके लिए रिमूवल वर्ड लिखा जाता है 124 में. Now you will say, sir, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? एक ही बात तो है. Some people will say that impeachment president impeachment process of president and removal process of a high court or a Supreme Court judge are same, then what is the difference? Please understand they are not same. The impeachment process of president and removal process of a high court or a Supreme Court judge are different. That is why I am here to explain this. Okay. So this is what you should know. So basically, this was the news that the opposition MPs have signed it. We will come back to this article because this is important. Okay. Yes. Now here it is written. Indian Express, now they have written this article, they have written, right? Motion to remove. This is the right word to be used. Justice Varma to begin Lok Sabha, no doubt remains, says government. Now what happened was during this, when the Lok Sabha is supposed to take up the removal motion, Justice Yashwant Varma with his lawyer, who is the lawyer? Mr. Kapil Sibal. And so he has actually he has filed a petition against the in-house inquiry committee report. What was the in-house inquiry committee report? This. Okay, this three high court judges. I mean, two Chief Justice High Court, one High Court judges. So this 3-member inquiry committee. So Justice Yashwant Varma filed a petition to the Supreme Court saying that this inquiry committee is unconstitutional. Why? I mean, his lawyer, Mr. Kapil Sibal, said why this inquiry committee has raised several constitutional issues. Why? What is the reason? The Justice Yashwant Varma, in his petition to the Supreme Court, he said that it is parallel extra constitutional mechanism designed for judiciary to usurp the Parliament's exclusive authority. So he has said that under Judges Inquiry Act, under Judges Inquiry Act 1968, the Parliament is supposed to set up a 3-member inquiry. First, Parliament will take up the removal motion, then the things will happen, and then the 3-member inquiry will be set up. Not the Supreme Court should set up a 3-member inquiry. There is nowhere this concept is mentioned. That is what the petitioner. So petitioner himself is a Allahabad High Court judge because there is an allegation against him. Now he is in Allahabad High Court. He said this. Okay. So it is that is what he said. Okay, the Justice Sanjeev Khanna, who had set up a 3-member committee, was not correct. This was extra constitutional. Okay, that is what, and he said that he challenged this in the apex court or the Supreme Court, that it took away the exclusive power of the Parliament under Article 124 and 218. 124 is related to Supreme Court removal judges, 218 High Court judges. Okay, and he said that the power to remove actually is Constitution gives it this, and the Judges Inquiry Act, they give this power to the Parliament. Means, according to the petitioner, that is Justice Yashwant Varma in the Supreme Court, he said that the power to remove a Supreme Court or a High Court judge is with the Parliament, or give any recommendation regarding it, or set up a 3-member committee regarding it, in the light of the Constitution as well as in the light of Article 124, 218 and Judges Inquiry Act 1968. Okay, so it said, I mean, the Justice Yashwant Varma in his petition said that Supreme Court cannot set up a 3-member panel. It is unconstitutional. Then the Supreme Court, I mean, yesterday the matter was being heard, and the Supreme Court said that why did you participate in that? Why did Yashwant Varma submit to in-house mechanism? You should have said the first day, okay, that yes, I'm not going to participate in this because it is actually unconstitutional. Okay, that is what you should have raised this concern, I mean, this issue earlier. Now, one more thing, which actually Mr. Kapil Sibal, who is the lawyer of Justice Yashwant Varma, he submitted that the Supreme Court releasing these visual images, because this was released by the Supreme Court, showing burned currency, convicted Justice Varma in the public eye. That is what his lawyer said, that if you are showing this in the public, then it means for all practical purpose, you have already said that, okay, Justice Varma is actually corrupt or something like that. But there are two things that needs to be kept in mind. First, this is one argument, but the other argument is, if the cash is found in a judge's house, it has to be brought to the public. What we call it as transparency. That is also one argument. Yes, because if such a huge amount of cash is found and people get to know that, of course, then of course the transparency says that you should keep it in the public. release it in the public, the photos. Because the argument was, if instead of a High Court judge, this cash was found in, let's say, in some politician's house or a bureaucrat house, then it should have, it would have gone viral much before or much earlier. So these were some of the arguments that were given. Fine. So that was the thing. And Mr. Kapil Sibal said that the process of removal of a judge is mentioned in 124 clause 4 and Judges Inquiry Act. Okay. We will discuss how the removal process happens. Okay. Further, Mr. Kapil Sibal said that it violated 121. What is 121? So basically, Article 121 says that conduct of judges of High Court or Supreme Court cannot be done in the Parliament except upon a motion for presenting an address. It means if the removal motion is there, if the removal motion is initiated in the Parliament, then only the conduct of that judge can be discussed in the Parliament. Otherwise not. Okay. So these are also the things you should be knowing. It means, for example, if there is a sitting High Court or a Supreme Court judge, then a member of Parliament cannot stand in the Parliament and criticize that judge in the Parliament. Okay. Unless and until the removal process is initiated against that judge. Okay. अगर किसी जज के खिलाफ रिमूवल में मोशन इनिशिएट हो गया, तब एमपीज उनके खिलाफ बोल सकते हैं पार्लियामेंट में उस जज के खिलाफ, लेकिन इन जनरल नहीं बोल सकते हैं. ठीक है. That is what it means. Fine. So we have discussed about this, है ना? These three members were set up. Okay. So यही है argument क्या? The petitioner, that is Justice Yashwant Varma, he filed a petition saying first, the in-house inquiry committee is unconstitutional. That is what he has said. And हाँ, अब इसमें इतना डिटेल आपको नहीं जाना. ठीक है. एक और चीज ये था कि CJI, after getting the 3-member in-house inquiry committee, at that time Justice Sanjeev Khanna had passed on to the Prime Minister that okay, he has been found guilty and please remove him, something like that. So Justice Yashwant Varma has challenged that of course CJI cannot do this. A 3-member committee set up by the CJI is extra constitutional. That is what Justice Yashwant Varma has said. Okay. Now, since we are talking about removal, there is one very prominent judge. He died in March this year. He was the first to face removal motion. In his name, there is actually a very famous judgment of the Supreme Court. Yes, Priyanshi, very good. Justice V. Ramaswamy. There's a very famous Justice V. Ramaswamy case. Okay. Yes, Adrija, Priyanshi, Nandini, Chandralekha, you are right. In this case, the Supreme Court said, if you want to register an FIR against a High Court judge or a Supreme Court judge, you need the permission of which person? Please tell me. You need the permission of which person? If a police has to register an FIR against a High Court or a Supreme Court judge, sitting judge. Yes, very good. Priyanshi, very good. Chief Justice of India. Okay. And Veeraswamy case also said if you want to register an FIR against the sitting CJI, then any other Supreme Court judge. That was the statement given. Then you have to take permission from any other SC judge. And most likely it will be the second senior most. But of course, virtually it is very difficult or nearly impossible. Okay. But the idea is this. Okay. Now, why I'm talking about FIR? Because when a cash was found in such a huge amount of cash was found in a High Court judge's house, at least FIR should have been registered. People filed a petition, but FIR till now has not been registered. Because the CJI has to give permission. Okay. P is the right answer. And so these are the things. And Justice V. Ramaswamy had died this year, and that is why also it's important. Okay. The removal motion against Justice V. Ramaswamy was initiated in which year? This is a very prominent case. That's why I'm discussing it. And I'll tell you why sometimes things gets repeated. Comes full circle. Just it's very quite interesting. First, please answer this, then I'll explain. Initiated in 1993, right? But of course, Priyanshi, right? Very good. Basically, he was again impeachment motion likha. It is not technically correct. Use the word removal. Okay, technically it is not correct, although it is used by newspapers. We have seen time and again, but technically it is not correct. Okay, so there was a allegation against him that when he was a Punjab and Haryana High Court Chief Justice, he had spent unnecessary amount of money, something like that. So please remember, till now we have not seen a single High Court or a Supreme Court judge being removed. आज तक किसी को रिमूव नहीं किया जा सका है. So there were some incident where the judge was supposed to be removed, but before he was supposed to be removed, he resigned. So there was one incident of a Calcutta High Court judge. Rajya Sabha passed the resolution removing him. It went to the Lok Sabha. Before the Lok Sabha could pass, he resigned. Okay. So till now, because of course it will be a matter of shame for him. So you should remember that not a single person has been removed as a High Court or a Supreme Court judge by the process of by Parliament. This can be asked also. Okay, fine. Ramaswami, he died this year in the March, and that's why it becomes important. Now, I have discussed this again and again, so I'm expecting God to answer. Please answer me. (124) talks about removal. Everything, the entire Supreme Court is mentioned in 124. All the important things related with Supreme Court is 124. Appointment, eligibility criteria, removal, etc. Okay, is the right answer. Yes, Hari, Nandini, Chandralekha, Nanamika, Dicha, you are right. What are the grounds for the removal of a Supreme Court judge? I'll discuss about High Court judge also, because we are talking about Justice Varma. What is the ground mentioned in the Constitution when it comes to removal of a Supreme Court judge? Proved misbehavior or incapacity. Very good. Anamika, Priyanshi, Chandralekha, Nandini, Hari, Atija, you are right. So when you read 124, it talks about eligibility of Supreme Court judge. When you go down 124, a judge of a Supreme Court shall not be removed. Again, not impeached. इसलिए using impeachment word is technically not correct, although in common parlance or generally लोग बोल देते हैं, but technically ये सही नहीं है. Except by an order of the president. I'll explain this, and I'll explain in today's class why impeachment of the president is different and removal of a Supreme Court and High Court judge is different. Okay, the removal of the ground is proved misbehavior or incapacity. Okay. Now, which article talks about impeachment of president? Here, look, I have used the word impeachment. Now, this is actually when the CLAT 2020 changed the pattern. This year, CLAT changed the pattern, right? So when they changed the pattern, they came up with the first sample paper after changing the pattern. And this was the question mentioned in that sample paper. Which article talks about it? Because at that time, impeachment of Donald Trump was happening in USA. So they asked which article in India talks about impeachment of president in India. So Article 61. Okay. Now you read. A president of India is impeached. This word is used only for the president. For this is the reason, violation of the Constitution. Okay. Okay. So now that is what you should know. Now, please tell me which of the following is correct regarding the removal of a High Court judge. Again, look, I am using the word removal, not impeachment. Yes, Anamika, Chandralekha, Viryanshi, Hari, you all right? Same as impeachment president, no. Same as removal of Supreme Court judge, yes. B is the right answer. Not mentioned Constitution, nahi. Okay. The right answer is B. अब मैं दिखाता हूँ. When you read 217, which is related with High Court judge, a judge of a High Court, because it's talking about High Court judge, removed from his office, again, not impeached, by the president in the manner provided in clause 4 of Article 4 clause 4 of Supreme Court judge. Matlab means whatever is mentioned here and is mentioned same for the High Court judge. Matlab here, let me explain. Okay. It means removal of SC judge process is exactly same as removal of High Court judge. Is it clear? This is mentioned in Article 124 clause 4. Year 217 you mentioned, hai na? So exactly same. But impeachment of president of president is not the same. Even not even some people say similar like सकता है, but I'll not agree. Even similar is not correct word to be used. There are a lot of difference. Even the majority required here and the majority required here is different. So कह सकते हो कि similar है, but at least I can say with full confidence that impeachment of President of India is done in a very different way as compared to the removal of a Supreme Court or a High Court judge. Similar कह सकते हो, but same तो किसी भी हाल में नहीं होगा. Is it clear? I'll explain it, each and everything, nothing to worry. These are the minute things you should know. Now let's talk about removal. First, बात करते हैं, we are talking about it. So you have to remove a High Court or Supreme Court judge. Where will I look at? 124 clause 4 of the Constitution. What other places I could see? Judges Inquiry Act, which is made by the law made by the Parliament. Which year it was passed? 1968. So B is the right answer. Yes, Nandi. ठीक है? अब देखो, है ना? अब मैं बताता हूं कैसे होता है. So Constitution में क्या लिखा पहले देख लेते हैं. So Constitution 124 clause 4, which is talking about removal of a judge of Supreme Court and as well as High Court, not to be removed except by an order of the President. You have to be very careful. After an address by each house of the Parliament, supported by majority of total member of etc. and the same session from this period. First reason क्या होगा? ये ground is this: proved misbehavior or incapacity. What is the exact meaning of this? Nobody knows. Proved misbehavior का मतलब क्या हुआ? ठीक है, तो आप जो समझ सकते हो आप समझ लो. ठीक है. Now the thing is, what is the procedure? First, each house, मतलब Lok Sabha and the Raj Sabha, should pass a resolution. What Article 124 clause 4 says? इनको पास करना है कितना मेजॉरिटी से? 2/3 of present and voting. You have to be very careful. Plus my majority of membership of that, not by majority of total membership of those and by majority of members, plus half of total. I'll explain. Wait. Lok Sabha is pass हुआ. Then Raj Sabha has to pass again with the same 2/3 of present and voting and half of total. ठीक है? I'll explain both. ठीक है? Just be careful because this is very important. Now, ये जब दोनों हो गया, even if both the houses have passed by this majority, still the judge is not removed. अभी भी judge have removed नहीं हुआ है. It will go to the president, and president by order will remove. तो final removal कहाँ होगा? President के हाथ में. Is it clear? अभी इतना समझ में आया कि नहीं? Till now, is it clear or not? Because I have to add Judges Inquiry Act also, except by an order of the president. तो फाइनली जब तक प्रेसिडेंट साइन नहीं करेंगे तब तक रिमूव नहीं होंगे जज. इवन इफ बोथ द हाउसेस हैव पास्ड विद अ पर्टिकुलर मेजॉरिटी, अनलेस एंटिल द प्रेसिडेंट साइंस इट, द जज विल नॉट बी स्टैंड रिमूव्ड. ठीक है? अब बताओ सर, आप हमको ये एक्सप्लेन करो, ये क्या होता है? व्हाट इज दिस 2/3 ऑफ प्रेजेंट एंड वोटिंग एंड हाफ ऑफ टोटल? इसको कहते हैं स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी ऑफ सेकंड काइंड. आई विल एक्सप्लेन. इमेजिन करो कि लोकसभा में टोटल कितने 543 एमपीज है. सो सेकंड कंडीशन सेज कि 543 ऑफ 2 बाय हाफ, इट मींस 272, है ना? इसका हाफ करो कितना आएगा? 272 आएगा. इट मींस मिनिमम 272 कंडीशन इज दिस हैज टू बी फुलफिल्ड फर्स्ट. सेकंड, 2/3 ऑफ द प्रेजेंट एंड वोटिंग, जितने लोग मौजूद हैं उसका 2/3 वोटर होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ 300 पीपल अटेंडेड ऑन दैट डे, जिस दिन वोटिंग हो रही है, and the voting is happening, out of 543 only 200 people, 300 people attended the Lok Sabha. So 2/3 of that will be 2/3 into 300, it will be 200. तो यहां पर 200 हो गया. So if 200 people will vote, do you think it will be passed? No, because second वाली condition नहीं fulfill हो रही है. Is it clear? 2/3 of present and voting and half of total. Both conditions needs to be passed. दोनों में से कोई भी पास नहीं हो रहा तो नहीं हो माना जाएगा. Is it clear? Same is the condition with Raj Sabha. Is this clear? Majority is clear? Yes or no? 2/3 of present and voting and half of total. Both conditions need to be passed, needs to be approved. Then only the resolution of removal will be considered in Lok Sabha. Similarly, in Raj Sabha, it needs to be passed and then it will go to the president. Okay? I was telling you, this is for both removal of Supreme Court and High Court judge. I was telling you that this process is different from impeachment of president. मैंने आपको बोला एंड यस आई विल शो यू. अब देखो इम्पीचमेंट ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट के पास चलते हैं. तो यहाँ पे कुछ और लिखा है. So preferred by either of the house, the other shall investigate. इसकी मेजोरिटी ये देख लो ना, 2/3 of the total membership of house. ये 2/3 of present and voting, half of majority नहीं कह रहे. It means in लोक सभा 543 का 2/3 निकालो कितना होगा? It is 362. So even if let's say 100 people came, अगर तीन तो then only it will not be considered. आपको 362 को सपोर्ट करवाना है ये. And राज्यसभा में 245 है, is there 1/3, so आएगा 82, 162, 163. This is saying 2/3 of total membership. This is the highest ever majority needed in the entire constitution. You got it? So the impeachment majority required for president is different from removal of Supreme Court judge. Is it clear? तो प्रेसिडेंट को इंपीच करने के लिए जो मेजोरिटी चाहिए और सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट के जज को रिमूव करने के लिए जो मेजोरिटी चाहिए, बोथ आर डिफरेंट. दिस इज मोर डिफिकल्ट. 2/3 ऑफ टोटल मेंबरशिप लिखा है, इसमें लिखा है 2/3 ऑफ प्रेजेंट एंड वोटिंग. राइट, यू सी इट है. जैसे कहां चला गया? 2/3 ऑफ मेंबर्स प्रेजेंट एंड वोटिंग एंड से डिफरेंट, राइट, एंड हाफ ऑफ द टोटल, राइट. ये तो हो गया पहली बात. So first thing we have got it that impeachment of president and removal of Supreme Court judges are different. अब क्या है कि इसमें हमको एक Judges Inquiry Act आई. Now अब इसको ना और डिटेल एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए this law was passed by the Parliament, which has detail explained to initiate a removal motion against a Supreme Court judge in Lok Sabha. How many members are required in Lok Sabha? तो Supreme Court judge, High Court judge दोनों के लिए सेम है. ये बताओ. Yes. 100 in लोक सभा एंड 15 राज्यसभा. तो इसमें तो ये लिखा था कि आपको पास करा देना 2/3 से. बट व्हेन यू इनिशिएट इट, हाउ विल यू इनिशिएट? सो जजेस इंक्वायरी एक्ट विल टेल यू कि शुरुआत कैसे करना है इसकी. सो हाउ विल यू स्टार्ट? सो फर्स्ट at least 100 Lok Sabha MP should sign and give it to the speaker, or at least 50 Rajya Sabha MP should sign and give it to the chairman of Rajya Sabha, the vice president. This is not mentioned in the constitution. This is mentioned in Judges Inquiry Act. How to initiate? तो आप देखो, अब आप पढ़ोगे ये आर्टिकल, अब आपको समझ में आएगा. 152 members, including leader of opposition, giving their signatures. 63 opposition MPs have submitted to Rajya Sabha. Even Rajya Sabha में initiate हो सकता है because you need 50 only, and even in Lok Sabha because you need 100 only. तो start a procedure. ठीक है, clear है? Now I hope you understand what is the meaning of this. This is not mentioned in the constitution. This is mentioned in Judges Inquiry Act. कि शुरुआत कैसे किया जाए रिमूवल प्रोसेस की, ऐसे शुरू किया जाएगा. ठीक है. Now the matter will be heard. अब इसके बाद क्या होगा? ये तो मैंने आपको बता दिया कि under 121 no discussion of against the High Court or Supreme Court judges done unless and until this has been initiated. अगर इस दोनों कोई भी एक हाउस में, in either of the two houses, the removal motion of a High Court or a Supreme Court judge is initiated, then in that house in the Parliament now you can discuss about the judge, about the conduct of the judge. ठीक है. Now अब देखो क्या होता है. ये होता है जजेस इंक्वायरी. अब ये समझना है, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. नाउ आई हैव टोल्ड यू दैट आइदर 100 लोकसभा एमपी साइन एंड गिव इट टू स्पीकर, और 50 राज्यसभा एमपी साइन एंड गिव इट टू चेयरमैन ऑफ राज्यसभा, हु इज द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. देन ओनली वी विल इनिशिएट द मैटर विल बी इनिशिएट इन दैट हाउस. ठीक है, कोई एक से शुरू होगा. इट विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम आइदर ऑफ द टू हाउस. Once the house has started, then only a 3-member committee will be set up. Okay? Who will set up the committee? The speaker. If it is initiated in Lok Sabha, the speaker. If it is initiated in Rajya Sabha, the vice president, the chairman of Rajya Sabha. And that 3-member committee will comprise of a Supreme Court judge, a chief justice of a high court, and a distinguished jurist. Distinguished jurist means a very prominent lawyer or a law officer or a law law expert. Yes, yeah. अब यहाँ पे क्या गड़बड़ी हुई थी? Like we had discussed, Justice Yashwant Varma said he filed a petition to Supreme Court, and he said that this is the statement mentioned in Judges Inquiry Act, that the 3-member committee will be set up by speaker or the chairman, not by the CJI. That is what he said. अब समझ में आया क्यों उन्होंने पिटीशन में ये कहा. You got the argument? If CJI cannot, according to him, the CJI cannot set up in-house inquiry because that 3-member inquiry committee was unconstitutional because it was set up by the CJI, and it is the job of the Parliament to do this procedure. ये concept clear हुआ when I started with the beginning, and now I'm discussing it here. You got this? Yes or no? ये clear हो कि नहीं? बहुत माइन बात है, छोटी छोटी बात है, but you should know. Yes. So that is what Justice Varma had said, that it is the job. And tab kab hoga? When the 3-member committee will be set up. When in either of the two house, the removal motion has been initiated, means 100 Lok Sabha MP has signed or 50 Rajya Sabha MP has signed. Uske baad shuru hoga ye. And that is mentioned in Judges Inquiry Act. How to initiate? So initiate is either 100 Lok Sabha MP will sign or 50 Rajya Sabha MPs will sign. ठीक है? अच्छा, इस टर्म को कहते हैं लीव ऑफ हाउस. आपने सुना ये लीव ऑफ हाउस वगैरह भी लिखते हैं कई बार टर्म, परमिशन ऑफ द हाउस. Sometimes this word is mentioned, so don't get confused. Now it is done. Now a 3-member committee will submit the report. To whom? To the speaker in case of Lok Sabha or chairman in case of Rajya Sabha. Whosoever is initiated. कोई एक house start करेगा and either of the two house will start. This 3-member committee will then find out whether the judge is proven guilty or not. If the judge is found guilty, then the Parliament will then the report will be submitted to the speaker or chairman. Okay. तो जो इन-हाउस कमेटी बनी थी, तो इनका जो जस्टिस यशवंत वर्मा की कंप्लेन थी वो यही थी कि CJI has set up the committee, a 3-member committee. This committee gave the report to the CJI, and the CJI passed it to the Prime Minister. Whereas Justice Yashwant Varma said in the Supreme Court that Judges Inquiry Act says that the committee will be set up either by speaker or by the chairman. 3-member committee. This will submit the report back to him, speaker or chairman. ठीक है? Is it clear? यही बात मैं बता रहा हूँ. तो ये सब concepts है, you should be knowing about. Now इसमें बहुत सी चीज होती है कि yes, there are a lot of rules under which CJI can also set up committee. ठीक है? I'm not going in that detail because CJI has a lot of powers. Of course, it can set up in-house inquiry. But these are the arguments. ठीक है? Fine. So ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. Then of course it needs special majority. मैंने वो explain कर दिया what is that majority. 2/3 of present and voting and total strength of the house 50%. That is what I have explained. अब आपको ये समझ में आ गया होगा. ठीक है? So how to initiate a removal process? Either 100 Lok Sabha MP sign or 50 Rajya Sabha MP sign. Either of the two should start. If let's say they start from here, यहाँ से start हुआ. This is mentioned in Judges Inquiry Act 1968. They started from here. So now the Lok Sabha passes with 2/3 of present and voting and half of total. Both are agreed. Then it will go to the Rajya Sabha. Then these actually they will again pass through 2/3 present and voting, half of total. Still the judge is not removed. It will go to the president. Now the president will sign it. Then the judge is removed. ठीक है? तो majority, ये वाला majority जो ये constitution में लिखा हुआ 124. But how to initiate it is mentioned in Judges Inquiry Act. हाँ, जब ये start होगा, yes, one more thing. जब ये start होगा, once the 100 Lok Sabha MP is signed, 3-member committee बनाई जाएगी of a Supreme Court judge, a Chief Justice of High Court, and an eminent person. Yes, Priyanshi, actually जो इसमें लिखा हुआ है, जो जजेस इंक्वायरी एक्ट में एग्जैक्ट स्टेटमेंट लिखा है वो यही लिखा है. मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. कहाँ चला गया वो? जजेस इंक्वायरी एक्ट में जो लिखा है वो लिखा है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज होने चाहिए, एक 3-member में, दूसरा चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ हाई कोर्ट होने चाहिए, और एक एमिनेंट जूरिस्ट होना चाहिए. एमिनेंट जूरिस्ट मतलब कोई सीनियर लॉयर वगैरह या सीनियर लॉ ऑफिसर या सीनियर लॉ लेक्चरर एक्सेट्रा. दिस इज द कमिटी रिकमेंडेड इन जजेस इंक्वायरी एक्ट. जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट इन हाउस कमिटी बनाई, सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेट अप इन हाउस कमिटी, दैट वाज आल्सो 3-member, बट 2 चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ हाई कोर्ट वर देयर एंड 1 हाई कोर्ट जज वाज देयर. तो ये इससे डिफरेंट हो गया. यू गॉट इट? ठीक है? डिस्टिंग्विश जूरिस्ट मतलब होता है कोई लॉयर, कोई टॉप क्लास लॉयर हो, कोई है ना, और या कोई लॉ ऑफिसर रह चुके, मोस्टली, है ना, लीगल एक्सपर्ट कह सकते. ठीक है? Fine. So these are the things we have done with this. Now अब आप explain करो इसको. Now I hope you have got the difference between impeachment process of president and removal process of a Supreme Court judge / High Court judge. ठीक है. But common parlance में देखो, आप न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ोगे तो आप कई बार देखोगे, you will see impeachment word written. Even sometimes I have seen Supreme Court lawyers writing. तो common parlance में यूज कर लिया जाता है, but technically the word removal is correct. ठीक है. Because that is the word used by the Constitution, so we should go by that. ठीक है. अब बताओ. Yes, all of the above. Majority required is both different. ये भी मैंने बता दिया. Is removed once the motion. Yes. अब देखो एक चीज और बताता हूँ. जब मेजॉरिटी, मैंने कहा ना कि लोकसभा राज्यसभा से पास हो, देन इट विल गो टू द प्रेसिडेंट एंड द प्रेसिडेंट हैज टू साइन. इन केस ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट्स इम्पीचमेंट, nobody will sign. If the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha passes with 2/3 of total strength of house, then the moment the house passes, the second house passes, the president is impeached. Next day the president cannot go to the office. ठीक है. इसीलिए भी रिमूवल वर्ड दिखाता है. इम्पीचमेंट में क्या होता है कि जैसे ही दूसरी पार्ट हाउस ने साइन किया, जैसे ही दूसरी हाउस ने पास किया वो 2/3 ऑफ टोटल स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ हाउस है, द प्रेसिडेंट इज इम्पीच्ड. ओके, सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस. और रिमूवल में क्या होता है कि प्रेसिडेंट को साइन करना होता है. अगर प्रेसिडेंट ने नहीं साइन किया तो रिमूव नहीं होंगे जज. दैट्स वेरी क्रिस्टल क्लियर है ना. सो दिस इज द इंक्वायरी बाय 3 member जुडिशियल इंक्वायरी. यस, द राइट आंसर इज डी. ओके, दैट इज व्हाट यू शुड नो. अच्छा, एक चीज और है, प्रेसिडेंट को कभी इंपीच किया गया टिल नाउ? आई एम श्योर यू मस्ट बी अवेयर, नो प्रेसिडेंट हैज बीन इंपीच्ड टिल नाउ. ठीक है. और इनका इन्वेस्टिगेशन कैसे होता है, इसमें ज्यादा क्लियरिटी नहीं है. बस एक बात, ये बात लिखिए कि इफ वन ऑफ द हाउस इनिशिएट्स, लेट्स से लोकसभा स्टार्ट्स, देन द राज्यसभा विल इनिशिएट, अदर हाउस विल इन्वेस्टिगेट. अब इसमें बहुत क्लैरिटी नहीं है कि व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ अदर हाउस इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग और समथिंग लाइक दैट. ठीक है. तो दैट इज व्हाट द केस इज. So Judges Inquiry Act ये है 1968. देखो यहाँ भी रिमूवल वर्ड लिखा है, इम्पीचमेंट. आई चेक्ड इट, मैंने कंट्रोल F करके इम्पीचमेंट चेक किया. देयर इज नोवेयर द वर्ड इम्पीचमेंट मेंशन्ड. सो टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग द जजेस आर रिमूव्ड. ठीक है, ये तो मैंने डिस्कस कर दिया. अच्छा, कुछ और जस्टिस वी रामास्वामी के बारे में जानते हैं, बिकॉज ही डाइड दिस ईयर, है ना. बता सकते हो? Since he died this year, and he was the first person against whom a removal process started, although he was not removed. He was found guilty. Yes, he was found guilty. Okay, he was later removed by the parliament. Nahi. The allegation was regarding ostentatious expenditure, heavy expenditure as a Calcutta High Court judge. Nahi, I think Punjab, Haryana High Court. So the right answer is A. He was found guilty by 3 member committee. तो उससे भी कुछ नहीं होता unless until Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha passes and president signs. ठीक है. ये उनके 4 बारे में चाहो तो आप चाह सकते हो. ठीक है. Who was the defense lawyer of Justice Ramaswamy? अब मैंने beginning of the class में कहा कि we start and come to the full circle sometimes, and this is how the example is. Defense lawyer of Justice Ramaswamy, the same person who is the lawyer of Justice Yashwant Varma. ये 1993 की बात है, आज 2025 है. Yes, the right answer is C. ठीक है. मिस्टर कपिल सिब्बल, ही इज करंटली द सुप्रीम कोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन प्रेसिडेंट. ठीक है. यस, ठीक है. ओके, सो ये सब पता होना चाहिए. ये बता दो, दिस इज एक्चुअली अ वी रामास्वामी केस. वी रामास्वामी केस, द सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड दिस: इफ यू वांट टू रजिस्टर an FIR against a high court or supreme court judge, you need the permission of CJI. And that is why, and that is why पीपल फाइल्ड अ पिटीशन. अब मतलब एमपीज ने पूछा पार्लियामेंट्री पैनल में कि अभी तक जस्टिस यशवंत वर्मा पर एफआईआर क्यों नहीं हुई, बिकॉज 1991 सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट सेज दैट सीजीआई शुड बी कंसल्टेड before an FIR needs to be registered. So people filed a petition in the Supreme Court to register an FIR against Justice Varma, but Supreme Court rejected it. Okay, अब क्या इसमें डिटेल जाना तो जा सकते हो if you are interested. So in detail. So this is all about today's class. Some people were talking about collegium. So this is collegium. This is about appointment of judges. In Supreme Court and High Court. Please watch it. This will be also very, very important. I hope you have enjoyed today's class. It was very, very important because it is very much in the news and you must know. इससे question आ सकता है, बहुत सारे chances है. So thank you everyone. Please press the like button everyone if you have liked the session. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Please subscribe to our channel.